Hello everyone. Not wearing black today for a change. Decided to do something a bit different. I'm going to be reviewing Terry Goodkind's The Girl in the Moon. When I say reviewing, I mean I'm going to be talking about it very briefly, offering an opinion. So Terry Goodkind is an author that I have read far more of his stuff than I wish I had. I'm not going to get into the politics of who he was or what sort of person he was, other than yeah. But the thing is, I thought that his Sword of Truth series started off okay. I think Stone of Tears is his best book. It's the second of the Sword of Truth series. It's not a good book, but it's his best book. The series started to fall apart very quickly. I thought Faith of the Fallen was abysmal. I thought that when he finished the series off with Confessor, that was it. But then we had the Omen Machine, which was ended with Warheart, which I legitimately struggled to get through because it was so bad. I didn't realise until recently that he's done another series, The Children of Dahara, who continue that series on again. I thought that he'd finished it off twice, so I haven't read them. I am going to try the audio book because they are short books connected. I think there's 5 books that form one big story. I'm going to give it a go. But this one, The Girl in the Moon, was one of his stories that focused on a girl called Angela, and it's a modern day sort of thriller. So it's not a fantasy book, which is yay for Terry. And The Girl in the Moon sees this girl who, I'll give away a little bit of a spoiler. She can see killers. She's born with this ability to know if someone's a killer or not by looking at the eyes, and so she targets serial killers. But it turns out that there's another killer who also has the same sort of ability, and there's a gang that she gets involved with. I mean, look, one of the things about Terry Goodkind is he's good at coming up with story ideas. He's great at openings. His action scenes are pretty good as well. But where his books fall apart generally is, firstly, his obsession with sex and violence in a really unpleasant manner. This is no different in that there's a lot of violence that's almost gleeful, where we're meant to believe that Angela, our heroine, is a good person and that she's only killing bad guys, but the way that she gets a sadistic pleasure from doing it and the detail that she goes into it makes it hard for you as a reader to like her because she's a psychopath. And there's no other way to describe that. The books also have an obsessive amount of sex and violence, often sexual violence. And Terry, again, he says that it's necessary to see what happened to Angela when she was younger and she was abused, and it's necessary to detail these things in order to understand how these people are. But I disagree. I think there's ways in which the story could have gone about its business without being so, not just explicit, but sort of disgustingly so, because there's a lot of stuff here that just made me feel icky and almost like Terry got off on writing it. Again, and it's something that was throughout the whole Sword of Truth series. There's all these bizarre S&M bits that are just needless. But that's not what kills it for me. What kills it for me is the same thing that I think about whenever I read any Terry Goodkind book. And this obsession with monologuing and obsession with explaining stuff, almost like he got paid by the word. And so he will write a scene and then he will literally rewrite that scene and then rewrite that scene so that we've got a character who will talk to themselves and think something, and it's just the same thing over and over and over, to the point where you can guess later on, when you've read enough of these things, how someone's going to think and what they're going to say. And if you took a shot every time you write, you'd be absolutely drunk before you even got through like the 3rd or 4th chapter. For example, there's a bit here where there's this place called the Hellhole, where Angela uses to dispose of bodies. So she will throw all her stuff in the Hellhole where she commits a murder, because that's what it is. And it's somewhere where nobody's discovered, so it's her safe place. But it will describe Angela going through the process of, she has to get rid of a knife in the hellhole so that nobody will know it, because there might be a trace of blood on the knife, so she has to throw it in the hellhole. And then she'll throw her clothes when she keeps them murder because they get blood on them. So down the hellhole they go. And her shoes might have traces of DNA, so that goes down their hellhole. Everything that she has to get rid of has to go down the hellhole because it's a great hiding place because nobody will ever think to look down it. So she'll wash herself off, but if she's got something, it goes down the hellhole. And later on, she might think, well, I need to get rid of that. Where shall I get rid of it? I'll get rid of it in the hellhole. Why? Because nobody will think to look there. It's a place where I get rid of all my stuff and nobody looks. And I've got rid of my knife and all the knives I use. Every knife I've ever had has gone down the hellhole. And the clothes I've had that got covered in blood go down the hellhole. Why? Because nobody will ever think to look down it. I've got some more shoes and they'll eventually go down the hellhole. And the bodies I can try and chuck most of them down the hellhole. Why? Because nobody ever thinks. It's like, my God, it's literally page after page after page of tedium about stuff. I don't know who did that thing worse. I don't know for a record whether Terry Goodkind's monologuing about stuff and repeating stuff over and over, or Richard Lehman's obsession with breasts and nipples and how characters would get a look at them. Because there's a bit in, and I'm going off target, but there's a bit in Bite where a character keeps getting a glimpse of someone's open shirt and it opens more and more and he gets to see more and more boob, basically. And it's page after page after page of how much more boob he can see. And it's just, that's the same sort of thing with this obsession, this obsessive style of writing. But Terry Goodkind's characters that are good are horrific human beings. They can just do stuff, and it's not explained how they know what to do, they just do it. I mean, this was the same sort of thing. This book was so tedious to get through because of how it's written. And I just wanted to rewrite massive chunks of it and just get, you can just bypass huge chunks and you just, Angela wasn't a nice person. And also, the whole revelation, I know that Terry was in a book signing, was going on about how the girl in the moon, he thought it was such a clever reveal as why she's known as the girl in the moon. No, it's not. She's known as the girl in the moon because she's distant to everyone else, so she considers herself alien to them. Where she lives, it's quite hard, and she feels like she looks down at people, almost like how you would look down at somebody if you were on the moon. And she's got abilities that other people don't have, therefore she's otherworldly. That's why she's known as the girl in the moon. She considers herself the girl in the moon. And other people used to call her mum, or someone used to call her the girl in the moon, just because she was different. And it doesn't really rationalise or explain why they've used that term. It's just bunk. Yeah, I really dislike this book. In fact, I genuinely hated it because of the way it was written, because of the violence, the sex, the monologuing, the repetitive nature of how it just explains things over and over. You don't have a great heroine. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. It's a really just unpleasant mess of a book. I gave it I'm giving it a 0.5. Terry didn't seem to be any better in his later years at writing thrillers or crimes than he was at fantasy. I don't know whether the monologuing in here was worse, or whether it was in Warheart. There's a bit where you got these three women sitting around a campfire explaining stuff to each other, and it's almost like they're the most thick, dense people have ever lived, because one person will explain something and the next person will ask, but how have you come to that decision? So then they explain how to come to the decision, and the other person will then join them. Did you know this person's discovered this? How? And then we'll have to have that whole conversation again, because this person doesn't know either. And that was just half the book, basically. And this is the same sort of thing. It's just awful, 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 awful.